everybody. So this past week of student teaching was really well, I think. I definitely learned a lot and grew. And some of the things that happened was I was finally able to start figuring out a balance, if that is even a thing. I know that's a little weird because with teaching, not just necessarily student teaching, there's always different things that you would have to juggle and move around. Uh, but catching up on grading was a really exciting thing for me for this week, and to be able to hand all my grades back to the students, or assignments back to students, and say, okay, if you need, there's a week left in the marking period, you can redo things, you could hand me missing assignments, I will take it up to the last day of the marking period, so that way the students are aware of what their grade is and what they have to do to earn a better one. They want Another thing that I was able to do for the very first time was hand out 3 final exams to 3 of my classes. And as the day went on and I handed more finals, I felt more confident with what I was doing, and was able to feel like I had better structure in me, like, here's your expectations, this is what you need to do. I need it to be quiet so people can concentrate. This is what you have to do when you're done, so that way the room can still be quiet so we can be respectful of those still testing. So that was kind of neat and good to have that practice of being the teacher delivering those exams. And another benefit with that, or another learning experience with that, is Mrs. Beer wasn't in the classroom when I did that, so that way any concerns or comments that the students had, they had to ask me. So that's a plus. In addition, I helped to create individualized learning plans. I have several students who are in my class, but they aren't physically in class, so I have to constantly make sure that I'm adapting to their needs and supplying the correct curriculum or materials or alternate assignments to adapt to what their needs are, so that way they can still learn the content and be proficient in my class. Additionally, Mrs. Beer is a fantastic cooperating teacher. We always spend a sufficient amount of time after each lesson being able to talk about them, and this week was really great with my leadership class. Mrs. Beer had phenomenal suggestions like, Jenna, you should have done this, or how could this lesson be better? Mrs. Beer is always a proactive thinker and thinking about, yes, this was good, but let's build upon it. Let's make it better together. And so I'm very thankful for her feedback and diligence with that, and seeing her want me to grow and helping make that possible. I think that's really important, and I definitely feel like I lucked out with my cooperating teacher. I'm pretty sure I got one of the best ones in PA. In addition, for the advisor part, or my cooperating teacher, she helped to transition me into some of the other roles as an agriculture teacher. Earlier this week, I was the FFA advisor for a meeting. I stood up for the part in opening ceremonies. I helped to direct students' questions as they had them while we conducted this meeting, and I think that was a very beneficial and exciting experience for me to be in that role. Additionally, this week I helped to order and pick up flowers for my horticulture class, and we did flower arrangements before Easter. It was a fantastic way to end the last day of class that past week, and at the end there were still flowers left over, so what I did is I made this lovely arrangement that I will hand to the secretaries in school on Tuesday, so I can just go and be like, I really appreciate you and all of the work that you do, and I think everybody could use some beautiful flowers. I even made it festive by putting in some Easter eggs, and yeah, pretty exciting. For those of you who don't know, I absolutely adore making flower arrangements. It's a wonderful thing for me. One day I hope that whatever ag program I end up in, I have a huge greenhouse and can make beautiful flower arrangements and teach floriculture, but also raise vegetables to help feed either the school or the community, or something cool. But so I'm definitely discovering my love for plants. That's a constant love. So, and additionally, Miss Megan Keller, the student teacher from Mannheim Central, came to visit me and my program at Shippensburg, and she spent the day with us on Thursday. An exciting thing that she did is I used her as a resource. In my large animal class, we were starting to talk about goats and sheep, and I was like, Megan, would you mind helping to share a presentation about your farm? Rely on her expertise since she has a goat farm, or she comes from one, and she shared pictures and talked about what a dam and a sire is, and genetics and breeding, and it was just so cool to see her pick up components of things that we talked about in other units, as well as introduce brand new components and bring it together. And the fact that this is her speaking from her personal experience, and that it was a guest, I think that made the students more interested, which was exciting. So overall, I think this week was definitely a success, and I only have one day left with these students before the marking period changes. So it's crazy how time flies. A plus with my ag mechanics class is kind of neat to see the full process. I had that class from the very first day of the marking period up until now. So I've been teaching them for 9 weeks, and it's neat to be there for the full process. And I can certainly say within this marking period, I have learned a ton. I've learned a lot about what I would do differently if I could, what I will do differently when I have my own classroom. In terms of mechanics, I need to be much more structured, and I think that's just a trial and error thing as a beginning teacher, but I'm definitely writing down these hintful tidbits of advice for future me as I begin my own program, and learning that students need extremely specific directions. They need everything spelled out, or they're going to find all these weird loopholes. And I'm just learning to adapt to a high schooler's mindset and what they're going to look at when I hand them an assignment, so I can make sure that my expectations are extremely clear. And I think it's been a good week, and I'm excited to see these next few weeks, these next 14 days in the classroom with my students. And yeah, just always an exciting road or an exciting adventure for me. I'll be happy to share with you soon about the adventures of this upcoming week. I hope you have a great one. Happy Easter. Bye.